Hello everyone, it's me again, Deidre, back with another video. So thank you for tuning in. As you can see by the title of this video, today we're going to be talking about BIPOC and eating disorders. This is a topic that I notice hasn't been covered very much, not only on YouTube, but not in studies as well as articles. And I think it's so important as someone who's struggled with an eating disorder in the past to have this information out there so that we can shed the veil of shame and really open the conversation to talking about things that are going to help get the community back to where it needs to be. For those of you who've never met me before, hi, my name is Deidre Kufon. I am a YouTuber, dancer, actress, as well as now an author. Check out Beauty and Body Diversity, available now. I'm running for Miss Black California USA, so wish me luck. And I am also an eating disorder survivor. This is not something I mention very frequently on my YouTube channel, but it is still such a huge part of my identity and a part of my personal history. And I want to take this opportunity to share some of my findings, as well as some information shared in my book. But overall, this is to raise awareness of eating disorders in Black, Indigenous, and people of color communities and bring us into the conversation too. This video is split into 5 points, and the first of those points are definitions. First things first, what is an eating disorder? According to Oxford, an eating disorder is any range of mental conditions with persistent disturbance of eating behavior and impairment of physical and mental health. Simply put, eating disorders are mental illnesses characterized by behaviors, actions, beliefs, and habits formed around food, eating, and body image. That brings us to number 2, perception. One of the biggest issues with BIPOC and eating disorders is the kind of representation that is given to these kinds of mental illnesses. For decades, the perception in the media was that eating disorders were a rich white woman illness that wasn't experienced by men, people of older generations, or people of color. But the statistics just do not show that. Eating disorders do not discriminate. They can affect anyone at any time, regardless of your socioeconomic status or your race. That moves us on to number 3, BIPOC ED statistics. BIPOC are less than half likely to be diagnosed with an eating disorder. We are also less likely to be asked about symptoms. Black children are more likely to be diagnosed with anorexia at a younger age than their white counterparts. And people who are of Hispanic background are more likely to develop bulimia nervosa than individuals of non-Hispanic backgrounds. But like many other medical areas, BIPOC research is extremely limited, few and far in between. With all of this information and all of these numbers I'm throwing out, I'm sure you're wondering what causes them? What is the source of these eating disorders? What are the triggers? So that brings us to number 4. Eating disorders are extremely multifaceted. Even within my own diagnosis, being EDNOS, being eating disorder not otherwise specified, it's really hard to fit eating disorders into a box. Each disorder varies with the person. We have higher rates of disordered eating because it's a way of coping with trauma. When one can't control the things happening to them, they control what they're eating. Just like Dr. Robertson Moore said, it's a control mechanism. And at the end of the day, eating disorders are very rarely about the food themselves. They're a way to feel like you have a sense of control, which is why race is a key factor when it comes to eating disorders in people of color, because there are a lot of experiences that are very unique to people of color compared to our white counterparts. And eating disorders have been a way for us to control things in a very uncontrollable world. With that said, some eating disorder triggers are race-based trauma, pressure to conform to European beauty standards, pre-existing conditions like anxiety or depression, environmental factors, being where you live or where you're from, poverty or living below the poverty line, food insecurity, food scarcity, and the list goes on. It's hard to quantify everything that goes into having an eating disorder because it is a very multifaceted illness, but these are a few things that are common factors in BIPOC eating disorders. Now that we've given all of the information, we get to number 5, which is take action. Just because this is how things are doesn't mean that this is where they have to be. One of the ways that I took action was writing a book and sharing my experience. Eating disorders in BIPOC communities are extremely hidden. These are not things that we're normally spoken to about. These aren't things that we are openly sharing. So sharing is one really key way that we can raise awareness. Another way to take action is by supporting organizations that help fight eating disorders, like the National Eating Disorder Association. There are many ways to help NEDA in their aim to create a future free of eating disorders. One way is to donate. I'll include a link below where you can give money if you are able to do so. Every penny counts. Second, you can support them by going on a NEDA walk. These are nationwide walks that raise money to help support research and policy change for eating disorders. And last but not least, you can share. If you are a person of color and you've experienced an eating disorder, I highly advise you, if you are able to do so, to share your experience. One of the biggest issues plaguing our community is that we don't talk enough about any kind of mental health issue, and eating disorders are just one of them. At least for myself, it's so important to be transparent about the things I'm going through, because chances are there's somebody else going through it too. That's the way I led my life with this YouTube channel, with my journey through Japan, with professional dance, with pageantry, and now with eating disorders. It is so important for you to share as a person of color your experience, because your experience matters. Your input matters. Your mental health matters too. I want to thank you guys for watching this video today. It is extremely vulnerable, to say the least, but it is necessary to shed that veil and to truly talk about the things that are difficult to talk about and maybe a little bit uncomfortable too. It's important work and it needs to be done, and I'm so happy that you took the time to watch this video today, because now you're a part of the solution too, just by educating yourself. Easy, isn't it? All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. I hope you liked this video or learned something today. If you learned something, then hit like so I can see that you did. And if you want to see more, then hit subscribe and become part of the YouTube fam. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a blessed day or a blessed night. Take good care. Bye.